monsters. Mamma mia, pocket full of green goblins. Monsters, monsters. Mamma mia, pocket full of green goblins. Monsters, monsters. Mamma mia.
You didn't see Liam, you wouldn't even know he existed, to be honest with you. He always had this blanket over him. Well, why does he keep himself covered all the time? Because he doesn't like to interact with any other people because he gets upset. Monsters, that's all I could really say is, I can't say them, can't even call them parents because parents don't do that to their kids.
There was like no emotion in them. They weren't bothered. They were sort of laughing, joking on that they were going to get sent to jail for neglect because they knew they were getting done with neglect anyways, they were saying. But laughing and joking on like, do you think we'll get the same cell together?
In a 999 call made shortly before 8 p.m. on March 22nd, 2014, a distressed Nyomi Fee can be heard sobbing and saying, oh God, and please, please, as she attempts to perform CPR on 2.5-year-old Liam Fee with the help of the operator. Fee said, can you please hurry up? My baby's not breathing. I think he's dead. He's not breathing. He's white. She can then be heard telling the female operator that another young boy had strangled Liam. She said he held his mouth closed and his neck because he was crying and trying to hurt him. After the EMT arrived, he noticed the child was laying on the floor. He was white. There were no signs of life, and he appeared to be lifeless. The 2-year-old was laying on his bedroom floor, wearing a top with the characters from a TV show called Zingzillas. His nappy was visible above blue pajama bottoms, and he wore striped socks. Dry blood had run down one cheek from his nose. 2 women were standing with a boy. One of the women said, tell him what happened. The boy stated, I strangled Liam because I was jealous of the attention he was getting. But eventually, this little boy would start talking and tell the true story of what happened. And his story was the stuff of nightmares. Hello, my name is Holly, and this is The Murder She Shed, the place we honor the dead right from my she shed. Hit that subscribe if you would like to hear more rarely told true crime from this southern chick right in my she shed, usually 2 or 3 times weekly. I do breaking case and rarely true. Rarely true, not rarely true. They're always true, the stories I tell. Rarely heard true crime. Let's get that right. I'm not setting up this shack, making up all kinds of jack. Sorry, just had to add that. This being a child case, I must give a warning, and it is a hard one. I mean, honestly, all child cases are horrific. This one is right there at the top of that list, so viewer discretion is advised. Liam Fee was born in August 2011. Liam was a 2-year-old little boy living with his mother, 31-year-old Rachel Fee, and her civil partner, 29-year-old Nyomi Fee. The pair had moved to Fife in December of 2011 after Rachel Fee separated from Liam's father, Joseph Johnson, and took her partner's name. The couple stated Rachel started having an affair in 2010 when Rachel was in a relationship with a man whom was Liam's father. When Rachel became pregnant with Liam, they made plans to move to Scotland and be a family. They headed north in December 2011 after Rachel's partner found out about the relationship and she, they say, became scared. Who knows? Fife is a county in the northeast of Scotland. It is sometimes called the Kingdom of Fife. After they moved, the abuse of the 3 boys would begin. Like I said, Rachel was the boys' biological mother. A babysitter was first to notice abuse, and so a social worker was sent to their house early 2013.
As soon as you seen him, you felt yourself wanting to smile because he was so happy to see people.
But the staff spotted bruises on the toddler and they called social services after one incident when his mum came to pick him up.
He turned round, looked at her, and the feeling that you had was just horrific. It was like he was just frightened.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
In my whole 10 years of being in this private nursery, I have never, ever seen anybody look at their mother like that.
Here's my baby. Sorry if he's making noise, I apologize. Liam's mother and her partner were said to have given a plausible explanation that he had simply bumped his head. By April, Liam's caseworker goes off sick and no one else is assigned to monitor the family. Then by March 2014, little Liam would end up dead. After receiving some counseling, Liam's two brothers began to talk, and boy did they ever. The boys said they were tied up and beaten, given cold showers, and forced to wet the bed because they were banned from leaving their rooms at night. So that's why they were given the cold showers, because if they wetted their bed at night, they would stick them in the shower, and they make them stay there for prolonged periods till they were freezing and shivering. One of the boys was threatened with having his genitals cut off with a saw. Not kidding. One boy stated that he'd been tied up in the room where rats, snakes, and boa constrictors were kept and told the boa constrictor 8 naughty boys, and then he was forced to sleep there. One boy said that his face was rubbed in soiled underwear and he was made to eat his own vomit. They would give Liam medicine to make him keep quiet. Both were forced to sit or stand naked or in underwear on a step or chair known to them as the naughty step for prolonged periods. The women constructed a cage using a metal fire guard and pieces of wood, and the boy was locked inside. They forced Liam to lie in a cage while naked during the day and sleep there overnight. This room Liam was confined in was full of rats and snakes, and the odor was overbearing. They bound his arms and legs to the cage with cable ties, string, or a dressing gown cord, placed household objects on him, and struck him if they fell off, put items including a chair on the cage to stop him from escaping. They would pour water on Liam to pretend he had urinated and force him to sit in the cage with his feet elevated from the floor. Why did they want to pretend he urinated? They wanted him to look bad to others? I don't know. I'm confused when I read that. I was kind of confused. On one terrifying occasion, they put a cage filled with rats on his head. That would terrify me, knowing I had a box of rats on my head. Like, can you imagine sleeping at night? You're in this cage, and these rats are walking around squeaking and pooping all over your head. I can't even imagine. That would be so terrifying, especially if you were a little child. Like, just be like nibbling and, oh my God, that sounds horrible. The fees also forced Liam to sleep in a drawer. Liam was forced to eat his own excrement after soiling himself. He was also made to eat dog excrement. All the boys were deprived of food as a punishment, given inadequate bed covers when it was cold, and called names by the accused. One of the brothers gave a horrific account of being forced to eat his own vomit. He said, "I'd been sick in a bow, and Nyomi made me eat it all. I kept spitting it out as well. And then he kept being sick, and she would make him eat it again." It even discussed Nyomi should put a jacket over her face as she was forcing him to do this. I don't understand how people can be so evil. Like, what the heck? You don't either, do you? We just don't understand this concept when we're both so kind. Oh. The evil women failed to get Liam medical help when he injured his feet in January 2014. Then, not only that, but they stomped on his feet and squeezed them, and they wouldn't get help for him. But they made it worse by repeatedly stomping on his foot. What kind of mother would do this? It just blows my mind that people are like this. They also assaulted Liam, including punching him and pressing their feet against his throat to the point of him passing out. They forced his head into a bath of cold water and cut his private parts with a pair of scissors. One of the brothers stated he was told he had murdered his own dad with a saw or similar implement and was threatened that his private parts would be cut off with a saw. What Nyomi actually said is she would chop off his willy. The women deprived him of food as a punishment, tied him to a chair, and forced him to assault his brothers. After Liam's autopsy, it was seen that the 2-year-old had double fractures of his thigh bone and arm and had over 30 injuries to his small body at the time of his death. His body gave up when a blow to his abdomen and chest ruptured his heart. His little heart basically exploded. He had suffered fatal heart injuries similar to those found on road crash victims. These evil women attempted to blame Liam's 7-year-old brother for his death, even forcing his fist into Liam's mouth after he died to leave DNA traces. This little boy was forced to put his hand in his dead brother's mouth. I can't even imagine how traumatic that would be. After Liam's leg had been broken a week before his death, instead of taking him to the doctor, they Googled terms such as How do you die of a broken hip? How long can you live with a broken bone? And can wives be in prison together?
Can you tell me what they were used for?
It's 9:24 p.m. If I go to jail, who pays your bills? Can wives be in prison together?
Rachel is currently serving a minimum of 23 and a half years behind bars, while Nyomi Feist must spend at least 24 years in prison before she can even be considered for release. And no, they were not allowed to be in prison together. Thank God. And for Scotland, I hear this is a life sentence. Americans think 23 years because to us, life means life. But a lot of countries, life is actually this kind of years put on, like 20-something or 30. Usually that's life for a lot of countries. It was because of Liam's brother's courage that detectives were able to identify Rachel and Nyomi Feist as being responsible for a wide range of serious offenses against these 3 little boys. I can't imagine the courage it took to tell the truth. They didn't know that they wouldn't be sent back. Being that little, they didn't understand. They still came forward and spoke the truth, and not only that, had to speak it at the trial. That is some of the bravest boys I have ever heard about. They are heroes in this story. I hope whatever family they ended up with, that they are being treated as they finally deserve, with kindness, love, and adoration. Guys, I hope y'all are having a great week. I will see y'all in a few days. And as usual, we'll leave you with a few bloopers to try to uplift you after such a horrible case. Thanks for your support. I love y'all. Bye. Here's Simon. Say hi to Simon, everybody. He's my baby boy. If you've never met Simon, so if you get bloopers that are from a different video and the lighting screwed up, you'll know why. I've tried this a billion times so far. He's just being a little pain right now. Oh my goodness. Baby. She can then be heard telling the female you're hitting my mic, baby. The fees also... Simon appeared a lot in this episode, and hopefully he didn't breathe and sound like a stalker in the microphone. He likes to stalk me. This is true. You know I film in the evening if I'm on this side by the bathroom. This is my bathroom. A toilet that don't actually flush. It's just like a little water, I pour water down it, so you can only do number 1 in it. You have to go in the house for number 2. I didn't build it for convenience, but at least you can pee out here. Sometimes if I sleep out here, I do need to pee at night. You didn't want to know all that. That's TMI, I know. You know, as usual, I tell too much. Open my mouth too long and say an awful lot that I shouldn't. I wouldn't be an Okie if I didn't do that, because we are honest, if nothing else. Us Okies are honest people. Well, not all of us. There's a few meth heads in Okie land that maybe not so honest. They like to steal stuff. We do have a few of those, I'm going to say. I should probably stop now. Quit rattling on unknown things that nobody wants to hear. Hey, have you ever seen Sling Blade? I know this is strange, but it's one of my favorite movies in all the world. I could watch it like a billion times. Billy Bob Thornton is like hilarious. In fact, it makes me want to watch it now that I'm thinking about it. He loved the mustard and biscuit. Yeah, now I want to watch Sling Blade all of a sudden. Noon tornado siren. Yeah, we have tornado drills here in Oklahoma where they just check to see if they work, so when we need them. And they kind of give us sign time so we know a tornado's not coming. Be something if someday the tornado come right at that time that they assign this. It's just a thing they like to do. And here in Oklahoma, we like to howl at the tornado sirens. Not me, personally. I don't like to howl at the tornado sirens, but my dogs do. I have no desire to howl at the tornado sirens. Not a werewolf, you know. And by the way, I'm still building my rabbit cage. I'm working on it, slowly getting it. And when I get it, I'm going to get my 2 bunnies. And you guys can meet them. Did that nader siren scare you, huh? You don't know. You used to it. You're Oklahoma dog. We used to those things, aren't we?
Monsters, money old, now money ancient. Tutankhamun giving you a facelift. Money old, now money ancient. Tutankhamun giving you a facelift.